shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
I feel like I got ghosted by a girl at a fucking. Oh, there she is.
You know what you should do?
Not fucking this.
Don't drink before a show. Oh man.
You're actually not that good of an actor.
No?
Nope.
I'm trying to act like I like you.
Well, you're not doing a good job.
Told you. Oh, I'll drink to that.
Me too.
Well, you know what you should do? I'm Gizz Lazlo.
I'm just Paul.
And welcome to another episode of this shit.
You know, the thing that makes you all your
Featuring
no,
Just
there's no
Paul.
money. Oh, I am kind of the lead on this these days.
Yeah.
I'm way prettier than
Yeah,
you.
Great job today.
Yeah.
Great job.
I mean, I showed up. Scott barely showed up.
But he did show up.
He
He
did.
show up. We haven't even talked to him yet. So
I know.
this is going to be good.
Oh, yeah, because he didn't say what he doesn't want to talk about.
Yeah. Now
Like, you were talking about everything.
Nothing is off the books.
First time in prison. First time he
Vegas,
swam across a
last time.
river. The last time somebody, you know, there's a bunch of stuff.
All right. So, how was your week?
The week was
Oh,
weird.
2 weeks, actually.
2 weeks, yeah.
We
Actually,
did take last week off because it was Memorial Day, and I wanted everybody just to take a day off and decompress, and
Yeah.
you know.
uh,
It was weird because it was the first time we've taken off,
yeah, in like in a
Because-
year and a half or more.
and it was weird, and I didn't like it.
Oh,
You know.
well, so you're moving in?
Yeah.
Okay. It's been a weird 2 weeks. Well, obviously we've both been through a lot of shit.
Mm-hmm.
I had an amazing weekend. I actually got to hang out on Friday night with a beautiful woman that I can't even describe. That we just sat
What
and
was
talked.
his name? Michael.
That was it. We talked about Russian fucking punk rock and ska. She's a
Already don't like her.
yeah. Well, she kicked the fuck out of you. She's a
I'll send her to a Russian prison.
oh no, you will not. I'll kill you first. She remember
She knows her way around.
Jesus, you remember Pussy Riot? Who's coming to Mocha on the 15th of June? Nadia is doing a single member show. It was really cool to sit down with somebody who is so overwhelmingly not a part of the Western world and to listen to music that she presented to me. I was like, what the fuck? It's totally different. It's so much fun. It's such a different take to listen to something that you wouldn't expect. Nina was awesome. It was fantastic. On Saturday, obviously, we were at Joey's Memorial, and Anna Maria, I love you. Thank you. You pulled a weight off my shoulders. Sunday is, I don't remember a lot of. And now is it Monday again?
Yep.
All right. How's your week?
Same. All week I was just dealing with the pressure and the stress of what's going to happen on Saturday, and I didn't want anything spoiling, celebrating Joey's life. And it took everything in me just to let everything go. It's not about my feelings towards people. It's about my feeling for my friend, my brother, my bandmate, my buddy, and just celebrate his life and talk to people who knew him as well or even better than I did. And, it was nice to be in a room filled with so many people celebrating his life at the church. There were people there that I hadn't seen in, 20, 30 years. And then the reception, there wasn't as many people, but being in that room, it was weird. I think, in all honesty, you were probably the only person in that room that I did not meet through Joey.
Yeah. And that's when you did get up and you spoke and you said, that you had met almost everybody in that room because of Joey.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when the waterworks started a little bit. And
well, Jeff Penalty was the one that started the fucking tear.
Yeah, he fucking pulled one.
I was fine. Dude, I had both
Dude,
balls
I was
on,
never fine.
and I listened to Jeff, and when he broke, I broke.
Yeah.
And when I walked up, I was already done.
Yeah, it was very endearing for you to look at that crowd and say thank you to everybody, and again, thank you for Joey, because I would not know him if it wasn't for you.
He was a fucking sweetheart. Everybody that met him knew it.
What?
And everybody in his family actually at one point during that day was just like listening to you to tell a Joey story and doing the Joey voice. That was
it was
5 years of hearing every hey buddy,
Hey,
had-
Gizz is here.
Hey,
Every time you walk in the
piece of
room.
shit.
It was amazing to be in such a room with such amazing, loving people. I do have a word of caution. Don't fucking smoke weed with Rhonda. Jesus God, or any
Wow.
other people. You guys, I don't smoke weed. I got fucking stupid stoned.
I smoked a little bit of weed that day.
I think I smoked 11 joints, and I don't smoke weed. It was hard to get home. We didn't talk the whole way. I didn't have words.
That's how I like it.
Ah! You know, I mean, you did have your head in my lap.
That wasn't my head.
No, it was a part of you though.
I'm pretty sure that wasn't my head. Oh man,
But yeah, great week, great, and thanks you to everybody that came out. I'm sure you've had the same sentiment. Everybody that was there was just so gracious and grateful, and it was really presented as more about Joey than anything else. Yeah. And that was the most beautiful part. Is like everybody that came out actually cared.
Yeah, and just to celebrate him, and then the stories told, and you know, even just the personal stories of me and someone interacting. It was amazing just to hear. Like
I don't think I've ever had that many really good, great hugs in a long time.
Sunday, I was hungover on Sunday, and I was like, fuck, man. Like thinking about how my celebration of life or my funeral is going to be.
Oh, this is going to be so good.
And I'm like, oh my God, there's like,
you're fucked.
No.
Oh, no, I'm going to do it before you die.
No. Kill me?
Nope.
You keep breathing. That's going to kill me. But I thought about mine, and just like, my whole thing in life has always been like, the one thing I don't want at my funeral is somebody to go, oh, wow, I didn't know that about Gizz.
Oh, we get to tell all the stories?
Oh, everything.
Oh,
I'm not there. Go ahead. I'm
oh, no, we're starting now. You're not getting out of this one. Yeah, I hope that, if I die, which I might not, because we've had a conversation about vegetarian vampires recently.
My tooth fell out.
That people that loved me like they love Joey, I really hope that that's the case. Like I really do hope that the people love me that way.
Hope in one hand, shit in the other. That's all I gotta say.
Fucking Jesus God, there's no winning with you. You're the worst wife ever.
We might as well just have it now.
Just get Scott in, Jesus Christ.
No, real quick. We have a couple more things.
we got things.
My birthday's coming up. All right. TJ McGee, brother of mine, his birthday's this week. Actually today. Jasmine, former drummer of Animals and Children. Her birthday's today. Adam from Dr. No actually did my Dr. No tattoo back in 2006, 2007. His birthday's today. Scabba, lady from Germany. She's actually from Texas, I believe, but she moved to Germany many, many years ago, and actually has a vegan taco truck.
That's not funny.
It's fucking cool.
No.
I tasted their tacos.
Is she a vampire?
Oh my God. 3 days ago was Lester Supreme, wrestler. He passed away many years ago, but his birthday was this week. He was the guy that got Dead Lazlo's Place song as his intro song. So to hear your song played as a wrestler's walking down the fucking, lane, getting.
If anybody has footage of that, I want to see the shit out of that. That'd be great.
That was that night I met Rob Zombie and Kerry King.
Dude, Rob's awesome.
It was a fucking weird night. Jay Lapito from the Beastie Boys tribute band, Pollywog Crew. His birthday. Omar, who was in Crime Wave, his birthday was a few days ago. And TJ McNeely, he's a promoter that I've worked with. Fucking really awesome guy. He used to do the Viper Room, now does shows in Vegas. Kenneth Conti from Implants and The Tank. Lucy, her birthday was a couple days ago.
Hey, Lucy.
And that's it for this week. Today, I did wake up to some bad news out of the UK that a dear brother, Colin Jerwood from Conflict, the political punk band from back in the day, fucking passed away this morning. Carl Morris notified me this morning, and I want to thank you for that. And just every week it's just getting worse and worse. Where we just like, hey man, like,
or better and better.
I keep losing friends, and I need that to stop at least for a month. Like, God damn.
Yeah, if everybody could just fucking sit still for a fucking minute, that would be really nice. Like, just stay in.
Yeah, but
it's been very tough.
We need to just keep taking care of each other, and like a lot of us said on Saturday, we need to start, seeing each other, getting little get-togethers, meet at shows, fucking dinner, whatever. But we need to hang out so that we don't. I'm blessed enough to say, hey, I got to hang out with Joey till he was gone. Obviously I was on tour when he originally had a stroke, and I was home when he passed. But
it was a hard day.
Like all of my friends, everybody that's been on the show, everybody that's going to be on our show, like we just need to just hang out and love on each other, and like Demetrius,
party at Gizz's house,
like Demetrius said, at the eulogy, like I'm glad that we're older. We're not, I can't hug you. I can't tell you I love you. I can't kiss you on the cheek, and tell you that I love
yes,
you.
you can.
Like I'm glad we're older where it doesn't fuck you and your little fucking homophobic bullshit. Like I can love you and tell you I love you and hug you and kiss you and tell you that because I do.
But every time you do it, you put your tongue in my mouth and it's weird.
It's your ear, you asshole.
Oh shit.
Jesus
all right.
Christ.
I don't want to dwell on it. I love Joey. He's an awesome human being. I want to get us to like and subscribe. YouTube, push the everything button. We got our sponsors, Headline Records, Transplant Brewing, MEOWZ in Pasadena, Riot Manufacturing. I don't know what that said. That guy's gone.
Licorice Pizza.
Licorice Pizza is one of our. I actually don't even have my glasses. The Tattoo Room. Hey Danielle, love you. And I can't read the rest of it.
No, the rest doesn't matter.
I forgot my fucking glasses. All right. Yeah, I did. What are we doing tonight?
Tonight, we have our guest is Scott from
Mr. Doctor.
Almost Famous Magazine. I've had the pleasure of being interviewed by him 3 times now.
I got once.
And it's, the guy's amazing. He's a really cool hang. That's the name of his show, The Hang. He's interviewed everybody. The way that I think I was introduced to him is I heard of him from Rob Ruckus. Rob Ruckus from the Vermin and the Shake Wells, and he works at the Punk Rock Museum. You wouldn't know anything about that.
Nope, wouldn't. No.
But that was a year ago. I can't believe it's already.
That was a year ago.
Where we went and had
steak
in a pool.
Steak in a pool. It was also D Boone's birthday on the 20th.
Oh, where is he? He's not even here.
Oh, he's not here. He turned 12, which is just too old.
In a row. So, all right, let's get him in here. Scott.
Hola. Speaking of the Shake Wells,
there we go, buddy.
Rob Ruckus.
Man.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're not wearing.
How you guys doing? It's a year I've known you, and you know what? Luckily, I'm in decent health. Because Paul, I think, is the Black Widow. I'm not sure yet, but we can't, we can't necessarily prove it, but we can't disprove it either. Therefore, we are at a crossroads.
Yeah, well,
hey, can you expand this for us?
Dude, you look good, man. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm recovered from punk rock bowling. I came home. I've had no voice. Wasn't feeling the greatest because the come down off of 5 days of punk rock bowling is pretty extreme, but it was an amazing year for punk rock bowling. What?
You did the full 5 days?
Oh, dude. I got there on Thursday, left Tuesday with my liver and my spleen, which I think is a blessing. I think you left your spleen behind at the punk rock museum.
With you.
I think
you left that at home.
I think Rob
it's in a display case now. Whoops! What the hell just happened? Hang on. Who turned out the lights? I think Ruckus has my spleen in a display case now as the latest exhibit, right next to that new jukebox that they got from Duran Duran. So
he probably has it. He probably has it in a drawer next to his fucking bed.
Oh no!
I don't know. Well, if he does, it's because he's raising tortoises and he needs extra food. So, and look, me, Gizz. If I'm a utility player, if I can provide help to people, doesn't matter how it happens. So,
man, so you went through a bout with a little bit of the thing.
yeah, look, last year was a challenge. I mean, look, you have to, first of all, if you get tennis elbow in one arm, you got to get it in the other. I mean, you got to have a pair. And so I'm still working on that one. And you know what? I'm fortunate. I'll knock on this pressed wood here. I just had another PSA test, and I am PSA 0 prostate cancer free, but I'm also prostate free as well. So,
that helps.
Where's the prostate? Is that right around here?
It's right here.
No, it's a little walnut just around your belly button. It's you know what? I lost a little weight and had to figure out how to hold it in, but life is good. I'm ahead of the curve of most people, and I'm fortunate because sadly to say, a lot of people don't figure out that they have prostate cancer until it's somewhat too late. So I consider myself fortunate. If there's one message we should start with tonight, especially because we want those men in Gizz's life to last a lot longer, guys, Gizz is talking about getting together more often, telling one another you love each other, which I'm all on board with. No matter what other people think, it is okay to tell another man that you love him. It's the most important thing that you can do to express yourself, and there's nothing weird about it. But here's the deal, guys: you want to extend your life for Gizz and Paul so you're around a little longer? Go to a doctor, get a PSA test, figure out what that PSA number is, and come up with a plan. You'll be happier if you catch it earlier than late. That's all I'm going to say. And I want to make sure, I know, Gizz, it's been rough for you the last few weeks. I can always tell when Gizz is going through a tough period. I'll tell you why. Because we have fewer drinking memes that go between us. And his meme game is about at the floor right now, to be honest with you. I keep trying to send him something cute, but it's cats, whiskey, nothing's getting him excited these days. So I can tell you've been in a bad space, brother. But I want you to take time, and I think you've been blessed with amazing people who care about you. And I mean, look, if you and Paul weren't lovers, where would you be in life? You'd have a woman. So but
I mean, bored in a sec.
A lot further, a lot more satisfying.
But
I've better orgasms in prison.
Nope.
But I'll tell you this, Gizz. I see what's been happening online, and the love that you've had for other people and the love they show for you is one of the greatest things you can have, and savor that, because there is one person, according to television commercials, who lived to be 150, but I've already set my goals on that one. So you guys got to come up with some others. So appreciate how people feel about you and those experiences, and enjoy every minute, because in the words of Warren Zevon, you got to enjoy every sandwich. And let's just take it with that, and we'll have a fun evening together here tonight. Hanging out, you, me, and Tang Lover over there. I forgot I was gonna buy Tang. I was gonna buy a jar of Tang for this episode, and unfortunately, I ran out of time. So
you have to get that tattooed on your belly.
Oh yeah. So Scott,
Tang
Scott, do
Lover.
you have any foundations you want to represent over like the cancer stuff and survivor stuff?
Well, I'll tell you that I started something. We're still ramping it up, but it's out there. It's called Tell Two Bros. And basically, guys, this is a great and easy way for you to learn how to start having a conversation about your health. And honestly, a prostate cancer discussion, when you know a few things about your PSA, is an easy one to sit around with a couple of guys around a beer or whatever and say, hey, have you ever been checked? But the truth of it is, guys, we just got to start talking to one another and being more open about our health. Our girlfriends, I don't have one, but if I did, our wives, if I used to have one, I don't. But if, the women in our lives will gladly go out and talk to each other about every little thing that they've seen a doctor about. They're open, and they're vulnerable with one another. And us guys are too damn, we're too damn proud. I mean, come on, let's be honest. You and Paul go out for a drink, and what do you talk about? Let's see. Music, women. Music, women, sports, maybe women, Paul's time in prison, women, Gizz's weird experiences with young boys, women. Hey, when did you meet Sharif Dumani? Yeah,
he was 14, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So notice on that list, it wasn't about our health. And guys, if we can just talk about our health with one another, I think we're all better off. So, and it's better than being uncomfortable and talking about Gizz's experiences with, underage boys. So,
Scott, I fucking love the shit out of you, dude.
Edit 8 minutes out of this.
I love the fuck out of you.
Hey, look, when I found out I was doing this, I was forewarned that it's going to go fast and hard. So I figured I'd get out of the gate before you did.
Stories.
Fuck.
Jesus Christ.
Dude, you gotta get
PSA. I gotta get that. What is PSA? Penis, scrotum, asshole?
Prostate specific antigen, but you're close in the body parts. So I'll give you that. I mean, I'm not saying that I can get you a medical degree from Mexico, but you at least got some good anatomy basics foundation going there, Gizz.
Oh, yeah.
And for women, it's
no, we're not doing it. Stop it. Just no.
You won't date that way, Gizz. You won't get a date that way, and then you can't break up with Paul. So,
oh no, we're married. It's over. There's no posting up on this one.
The one thing that I knew instantly was the first interview I ever did with you. We did about 5 minutes of a warm up, and kind of got to know each other real quick, and then we did the interview. But I noticed that like you were really quick, and you're all right. And he said something, and then I obviously had to retort and try to get a little, like, hey, this is how I am. And the way you look at me, you're just like, oh shit, really shocked. And then you said something like that was so atrocious to me, and like I was like, what the fuck? And you go, okay, well, now we're going live. All right, let's go. Oh, and then he went into his thing, and I was just like, you motherfucker just left me hanging right there. Like,
yep.
I don't know if this guy's fucking crazy.
No, Scott's an amazing interviewer. That's how you put you on. That's how you put you in a position like, what the fuck?
If I didn't know that Ruckus knew him, I think I would have just bailed out and go, nah, I don't trust this guy.
Look, and
now we talk like just about every day. We text and
you got to get my number. This is gonna be funny.
The fucking shit this guy sends me, I'm just like, fuck. I got.
How do you spell that?
Huh?
What?
Fucking.
Yay.
Fuck you, dude.
Look, and I'll be honest. I mean, this has been I feel like I've known you for years, Gizz, and it's been a year. And Paul, you may not know this story. Here's how this happened. I was at Punk Rock Bowling last year, and it was my first year at Punk Rock Bowling. And we'll talk about Punk Rock Bowling in a minute. But I took a photograph, and drummers, okay. Drummers, when they're drumming, if you're sitting in the audience watching, you just see this constant movement. I mean, there's a reason why Animal was the Muppet, right? And there's just all this movement. And as a photographer, I'm capturing things one frame at a time. Now, I will take photos of drummers, and there are many drummers who, quite frankly, look like Muppets, or they look like they've got their tongue hanging out, or their eyes are crossed, or they feel like they're about to squeeze one out, trying to do their best Bruce Springsteen on drums impersonation. But then there's this photo that may be one of the greatest photos that I think I've ever taken, which means everyone else thinks it's shit because I like my work and people love my crap. So I got a picture of Gizz, and the first time I looked at him, I'm like, I got to know this guy. I got to know this drummer, and here's why. Of all the photos I've ever taken, hundreds of thousands of them, this is the first photo of a drummer I've taken where Gizz looked like a kid on Christmas morning who just opened the best damn gift he'd ever gotten with the biggest shit-eating grin on his face and looked like he was loving every second of the experience. And once I had that photo, I knew I had to know this guy.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny because I think I said this story when we were finished with our set that night. My drum tech, who's actually here right now,
he's our bartender also.
Oh yeah, I'll take a cup of ice.
No, don't get him anything.
And another
nothing.
But when I finished my set, Cribbo, my drum tech, came over and hugged me, and he was like, "Dude, you fucking did great," and giving me that amping story. And then he goes, "Why are you smiling like a retard?" Like, fuck, dude.
Well, we lost that word.
Dude,
I thought
you can't quit smiling. And I was just like, dude, like this is the best moment of my life, playing there and then having him next to me, my little brother just fucking, like imagine how things have changed in a year. This kid was in a band barely, now he's in 4 bands now. He's just taking a chapter out of my book, like, oh yeah, fuck. And I told him, if you're going to be in a band, beat as many as you can. You know, it's just not a fucking.
And they're playing
relationship.
next Thursday, the 12th of the whiskey.
Yeah, yeah.
So all right,
Two of his
wait,
bands.
What bands is he in?
Couch Surf and Sex Motel.
And Dick Butt and the retard.
No, that's your band. What's your band called? PSA.
That would be a band.
No, that's the worst name. So my friend Eric has been around me for like way too long at this point. Yeah, we were laughing. The worst name you could ever have is Dick Tucker.
All right. Wait.
Okay.
I have a dear friend that I'm going to tell you a story about. I've known Dick a long time, and when I met Dick, listen, hang on, we're getting there. You can't tell a story for me. I met him when I was working in San Antonio at a television station, and he worked for a roofing company, and he was their marketing guy, and I met him, and his last name is spelled Zucker.
Oh my God, Dick Zucker.
Dick Zucker.
And I love him because he is thoroughly the most genuine person to come up to you and say, "Hi, my name's Dick Zucker." I have a friend, John, and he references that all the time, and he's the greatest guy. Like he's knowledgeable. He's got a great family. I actually took one family wedding photos for them, and he's now gainfully retired, playing golf all the time. But you know, you'll never forget him. And I think that's great. I mean, we all have to have a brand, right? I mean, Gizz is Gizz, and well, just Paul is, Tang. So, and by the way, if you are in a bar with Paul, look, for any of you watching who are out and about and you run into a Paul in a bar, make sure you have a little packet of Tang with you. He's gonna be like a puppy. He's just gonna follow you everywhere. So, ladies, that's a hint.
Ladies don't like me that much.
Ladies, stay away. You know you're just gonna be disappointed.
No, I mean, that was the start of something great. And then, I still don't have the answer because I thought for sure, being in LA slumlords, being in foreclosure, for sale. I would swear to God, Gizz is a real estate agent by day, for Christ's sake. I mean, every band he's in has something to do with real estate. So, I'm waiting for his next band.
Gizz in the brothel?
REIT. Maybe he'll name it REIT. I don't know.
My next band's gonna be pay up, motherfucker.
Yeah, and you gave your drum tech advice: be in as many bands as he can, because he's only making $1.50 in each of them. So he's got to pull that money together.
Sense of that.
So
all right, Scott. So you've got Almost Famous magazine. You're the most badass motherfucker on the planet. How did you get your start in photography? I want to hear this.
Dude, there's a reason I'm not in any of my family photos. I've had a camera in my hand since I was 6 years old.
Shit.
And literally have been taking them ever since. I got my first real camera in high school. It was on the yearbook. I went on to get a degree in filmmaking and photography from the School of Photographic Arts and Sciences at Rochester Institute of Technology. And from there on, I've always had a camera in my hand. I was a television news photojournalist for about 7 years or so. I must have enjoyed getting chased, shot at, and people trying to beat me up, staying out at crazy overnight stakeouts and stuff. Finally, one morning, woke up and said, yeah, this is probably not good for my health. So I moved on into professional problem solving, or as I like to call it, sales. But I always had a camera. And I've had one, and look, I owe my kind of rebirth in concert photography to Tim Hauer of Mike and Mechanics. I started just an arbitrary Twitter conversation, and the next thing you know, I'm in Chicago photographing them, and through a great organization that I had started participating in called the Love, Hope, Strength Foundation, which I have my camo jacket here for anyone who's a Mike Peters fan and understands what we've all been through. My hang on. It's my.
No, I can't see anything.
I can't see
Love, Hope, Strength. Love, Hope, Strength. Camo jacket. The man in the camo jacket, Mike Peters, who we just lost recently due to cancer. Unfortunately, my association with him and Rob Rushing of Punk Rock Saves Lives, what we'll talk about when we talk about punk rock bowling for sure. I got back into concert photography, and been doing it now almost as much as I possibly can for the last 10, 12 years, and love it. I mean, the experiences, being able to cover something like punk rock bowling, to build relationships like this, and to do something that a lot of people tell me just my style tends to capture the moments that people miss when they go to a show.
Yeah.
Because I think that if you're just focused on that one artist at the center of the stage who has the microphone, sometimes you miss the really cool moments of interplay between musicians. You miss when they're putting their thought into their art, when they're in, as I am, in what's called flow state, and really just focused on being in that moment and getting that one thing done. When you miss that stuff, you can't go back. There's no rewind. So I like to, a lot of my images are those moments that most people miss. And it's really fun being able to bring photojournalism to concert photography to tell the story of what most fans never see.
So when you're down in the pit and you're like actually in the photography area, are you just like snapping like crazy? Like, are you just blasting off like without no abandon, just going for it?
Kind of yes and no. It depends. I mean, I'll be honest with you. The more I get to know a band, the more I understand the set, where people will be, and hey, caught it. Where people will be, and what to expect, right? So if someone I've photographed multiple times, if it's someone I haven't photographed and I only have 3 songs to get the job done right, I'll shoot more frames than normal, just to kind of capture that moment. Because what you don't realize is if I'm shooting at, let's say, 6, 8, 10 frames a second, out of those 10 or 8, maybe 1 or 2 of them in that moment of frozen action is when people don't look A, constipated, B, like they're about to lose their mind, or C, something that would misrepresent their true feelings. So I look for, if I shoot a burst of photos, what looks best to portray them, and I throw the others away. So it all comes down to the venue and the band and my experience with them.
Have you ever taken a photo and
He
immediately, like when you get home and you're looking through them, you look at and you can tell someone's done?
Like you?
Like, I'm done with music, or I'm done with this fucking band, or this is a shit night, or I don't want to be here, or my girlfriend's cheating with my drummer. So,
You're the drummer.
let's go
No, that's the photo I got of her banging the sound guy off the side of the stage while the drummer's still on stage. I mean, evidence. No, that's something I haven't captured yet, is someone's dissatisfaction in being in that moment. I guess I'm fortunate that way. I mean, I'm sure Paul meets people, and since he's also the Black Widow, he could be the angel of death for a band. So maybe everybody, whatever you do, stay away from Paul if you're in a band, because he comes close and it could be over for the band. But I've not experienced that, thankfully. Knock on pressed wood.
Well, if you come to the studio next time and you see us live and you start taking pictures of me and him while we're doing our thing, that face will come out here.
Well, I mean, look, I mean, if the stage has a guitarist, a drummer, and a bassist on stage, and you and Paul are off doing your thing, I'm hoping you're doing it at least in the bathroom.
No, we're never in the bathroom.
I like being watched.
It's always been on the soundboard. Just sticky back. And Gizz always had that weird face, like, why'd you put it in there?
The sound man goes, "Get it out of my slider."
The reason that I asked that question is because when you saw my band at Punk Rock Bowling that last year, like, we were already going through those moments where it was just like, certain people shouldn't be in this band, or this person's not even really in the band. They're just performing with us tonight and doing a favor. It was kind of like a bittersweet moment. When I'm playing, none of that goes into my head, because I do want to do the best performance I can. But as soon as we were done backstage, all of a sudden, like, it was like, fuck, is this the last time? And I believe that was the last time that
lineup was 2 more, but actually that was the last time that lineup ever played. So
yeah, but I mean, you going into that gig, other than, what is it, 2 people in the band, I think the rest of you were there for the show. So there wasn't that solidity of a band. It was a gig, right?
Yeah.
And I know you tried to make it, work out and regrow the brand. And I know that, sometimes people go their way, but Bill is off doing so much stuff. I mean, geez, whether it be with Bow Wow Wow, or I think he just played a show last night or Saturday night in LA.
Fucking
and what he does, look, what he does with that charity garage or jail guitar, whatever.
Dude.
I mean, that's incredible work. That is what he does. I mean, I know that's where Paul learned to play guitar.
Jesus God, I'm the whipping boy right now.
Quick, Scott, I have 2 words from you from a mutual friend.
No.
The 2 words are the Vatican, and that's comes from Sharif Dumani.
The Vatican, the Vatican.
Oh, fuck.
You know why it's the Vatican?
No.
Because you spend 19 hours trudging through that damn place, and by the time you get to the Sistine Chapel, there's the sign that says "No photos taking." Yvette can't take photos in the Sistine Chapel. I hated that shit. So.
Wow. And
look, if Sharif, if you're watching, I'm so sorry. I know I have to get back to you. Give me a few more days. I'm still recovering, and we'll get that cash payment out so that album goes out in the mail. So
Sharif's giving me a couple of boxes of cookies.
Hey, Sharif, I love you.
Look, do we need to go back to the Sharif at 14 story? Because it just gets weird.
Oh, yeah.
It's a level of uncomfortableness that, in today's day and age, you don't know who an authority is going to knock on the door. So just saying.
Whatever I did right, because that man's an amazing songwriter and musician.
Oh, dude.
Oh, my God. He's incredible. Yeah. For sure.
So how did you get into concert photography? How did that kind of reconcile and work? Like, where did you begin that part of your career? I know Twitter.
Mike and the
Mechanics. So I was on a trip up north to Chicago, and Mike and Mechanics were playing an American tour, which they don't even do anymore, pretty much. And I just kind of struck up a friendship with Tim Hauer, one of the 2 lead singers, him and Andrew Rochford. And I said, look, I got my camera gear. You mind if I capture you some photos? And if you go to Tim Hauer's website, the main photo on there is one that I took back in 2015, I think it was, in Chicago. And I just kind of got back into it. I professionally solve problems all day long for companies. And that takes a certain level of creativity. And I've always been creative. So I kind of need the photography and the art to kind of refocus myself and get myself in that flow state where the world kind of goes away and I'm creating something meaningful, just to recharge my batteries.
Yeah, that's awesome as shit.
I do got to compliment you on your photography, because every time I see photos that you take, I mean, you do capture moments. You
take good pictures.
It's some people. I mean, it's not. It is an art. Anybody can be a photographer, especially nowadays with your fucking phone and people. People are the fucking kings of or queens of fucking selfies. You're actually
the fuck does that even mean?
Everybody's a selfie. It's never Oh, here, look. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, do I look good? And then, oh, yeah, I can't have that. It's like you. I've seen you.
You don't look good. So what do you shoot?
I would challenge. Before we get on, Paul, I'll challenge this. Not everyone is a photographer. Almost everyone has access to a camera. That doesn't make you a photographer. And I've had this conversation with a lot of people. You can put a camera in your hand. You can use your phone. You can get a point and shoot camera. There is an art to doing it, and you need to learn the art of doing it. You need to learn the mechanics of how it works, right? What's an f-stop? How does light work? How to be patient. One of the hardest things in this day and age is we live in this immediate gratification society. How can you, as someone taking a photo, be patient to capture the right moment? Because it's just click, 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 right? So I do challenge it a little bit, because there's science behind it, and there's art, and there's understanding what truly does make a good photo. And I'm fortunate. I've been doing this a long time, so about 15 to 20% of everything I take is I consider it good enough to show people. There's probably another 20, 30% that other people may say, oh, it's good. but it takes doing it often and analyzing those photos and understanding what did you do to make a good photo. You know, I'll tell you a story real quick. Halsey Reisberg, who's actually the editor of Almost Famous magazine, we had a conversation a few weeks ago, and she's got some new camera gear, and she was using, you know, she was using an auto ISO mode. And I said, well, let's talk about this, because she showed me a picture, and it was a really great picture. She did an amazing job. And what we tried to do is deconstruct it, and then figure out, okay, how can we do this and get it right every time, right? Because a good photograph shouldn't be luck, it should be skill. And that's where it comes down to understanding the camera that you have and how it works and how to make things happen. Because I learned shooting film, and you had 24 to 36 chances to get it right, or you were wasting your money at the photo mat, if we're going to get really old.
I love it.
You know, you had to get it right in the camera. You didn't have Photoshop. You didn't have all these platforms that would fix everything for you. You had to get it right. And I'm a big believer that if you make a great image that's solid, exposed correctly, it's framed fairly correctly, all those things that go into it, then you have a great foundation to make something amazing. But if that initial photograph, you know, is not made very well, it doesn't matter what kind of technology you have, it's going to be a challenge, right? You know, I mean, it's the same thing as people who can't sing in tune, but they use auto tune all the time. Now, Gizz wouldn't look. Gizz has perfect pitch. When he's standing behind Paul, but
Oh my god! I think I pooped. I just pooped a little bit.
Oh, well, don't get any ideas. So, all right, Paul, you had a question. I'm sorry, I kind of challenged Gizz there with his statement.
Dude, I think Gizz is challenging. So you're obviously you're through a digital SLR right now, right?
I am a dyed in the wood wool Nikon photographer. I'm very dedicated to them. Nikon.
Process.
I'm sorry.
I want to hear your process. Like, what do you shoot through? Like, how do you find your edit stuff, that kind of stuff?
Sure. I use Nikon Z9s for concert photography. I have 2 or 3 key lenses I do. I've got a 70 to 200, a 24 to 70, I think it is. Those are semantics to me, just the numbers on the lenses. But, you know, I primarily shoot with those two. I shoot everything manually. One of the joys that I get is when you have to think about your exposure, your shutter speed, your ISO, all those things in one felt swoop, and do a lot of math in your head, it kind of frees you from everything else because the world goes away. And, you know, I will use those pretty much regularly for any show. If I need to, like, I'll give you an example. I have some photos that we'll talk about from Punk Rock Bowling where I shot them from behind the crowd, far back, above the crowd with a 600 millimeter lens. But typically when I'm down to the pit, I've got 2 standard lenses, one camera body strapped to each side of me, and you know, whatever's appropriate to use.
I mean, and it's like, it's a feel thing, right? You're looking up and you're seeing things, and your eyes probably work better than mine, and you're just going, this is where I need to be, and this is what I want to see. And you're like, yeah, I mean, it is an art, like, same as like hearing or feeling a sound, and like how people do that. Like, take me through the process a little bit of, like, it's such an abstract thing for me because I'm blind as fuck. Like, how do you find that feel? Like, where are you in that moment?
Well, I mean, it's like, you know, it's like I said, sometimes when you photograph a band on the regular, you know, you kind of know who's going to move where, when, how, why, what's happening with a song, all that stuff, right? I mean, Mike the Mechanics, I know the set pretty well. Fastball out of Austin, Texas, amazing band. Tony, Miles, they're just the band is going out on tour with was it Bare Naked Ladies? Go see them if they're at a city near you. They have their last album, absolutely truly amazing. I've photographed them a lot. I've been photographing probably for the last 10 or more years, and you kind of get to know people's looks, right? But then you go to something like a festival like Punk Rock Bowling, and you just don't know who's gonna do what where. First of all, a festival show is different than your normal choreography on your regular, you know, on your regular set. You got a compressed amount of time. You're trying to cram in as many songs as you can and get the crowd riled up as quickly as you possibly can. So, you know, you come out hot and heavy on the first song and there's not a lot of buildup, right? But you're not sure what's going on. There's, first of all, in a festival situation, you have a lot of other photographers. You can't be everywhere you want to be at one time. You have to decide what your strategy is going to be, right? What am I willing to miss? What do I want to catch? And like the Addicts, I'll give you a good example. The Addicts came out on stage, and I forget the name of the lead singer, but I didn't catch that he had this big cape. I had no idea, right? And so some of my photos, while I got some of them that show the cape, some of them are a little cropped off and stuff like that. It's not perfect. And I had to readjust myself because I was really focusing on another member of the band as they all got out on stage and started, you know, looking for that energy. So, you know, I think after a while you kind of figure out, but also I think one of the key things is you go in with a strategy, because you can't shoot everything all at one time. That's number one. And when you're in a pit and you've got 3 songs and you've got God knows how many other photographers, you've got to make some upfront editorial decisions on what you want to get that's going to portray that set and what you're willing to sacrifice. In my style, I'm not always keyed in on just the lead singer, because I think that's great and all, but that's all that people are watching. And I want to show other things. I want to show that drummer who's in that moment with that, you know, that Kid at Christmas smile. I want to show the interplay between a bass player and a drummer, right? Because if those aren't locked in, like some of the best pictures I love that are what, like, you literally can see the eye line going across them, right? I want to see, you know, I want to see the pain in a guitarist's eyes when he's going for that massive bend and his fingers are just going, shit, blood's, we're not far from blood, right? So those are the things that I'm looking for along with the singer, because I tend to shoot, my style is a little more close up than most people. A lot of people go in there, shoot a wide shot and then crop it down. Music is about emotion. Music is about feel. And if you can't sense that from the singers and the performers and see it up close in their face, right, then you're going to miss a little bit. So my style is a little more up close, capturing that. You know, I want to see that neck. I want to see the people stressing. I want to see them bending. I want to see in their eyes that they're moved as a human being doing this for an audience. So that's kind of how I plan what I'm going to do.
So that leads to a couple of different questions. Like, first off, like the music that you're photographing and being a concert photographer and bebeing into, like, especially in the punk rock scene, like, obviously, how did you get there? And then when you're sort of doing this sort of thing, especially with punk rock bowling, do you like kind of go through the motions of listening to that band a bunch and like finding out like what they're going to do, where they're going to go?
You know, I'm fortunate for a couple of things. Number one, I mean, we did, I'd say 14 episodes with bands this season for Punk Rock Bowling. We had 6 weeks of double episodes that were off the charts. So you get to know people a little bit, right? I like to get to know an artist's music, so I'll sample it for the podcast, right? So I get an idea, but again, there is nobody who can really predict, other than the big hits of a band, what's going to be played at a festival when you've got, you know, you're condensing your hour and a half to 45 minutes or even a 30-minute set. So you just never know what someone's going to play. So you have to be prepared. I think you have to get more into the genre and kind of what their sound is like, right? Because there are very repetitive time signatures that a band will use. So you've got to get that pace. And once you have that pace, then you have the idea of, okay, what's the energy going to be and where you should start looking for what, right? More than just the songs. And I'm a huge, Gizz will tell you, I'm a huge music. I just, who was it? I just bought, I was at Punk Rock Bowling and I got to photograph the Interrupters. And I'm a huge ska. Well, if Sharif's still watching, if Sharif, I know, because the last time we saw each other, I was wearing a Madness sweatshirt. And so if Sharif's still watching and dissing ska, you know, look, I'm a Toaster fan.
Yeah.
The Interrupters were amazing. I had never heard them before. I don't know why. And I've just gone out and bought their music. Yeah. And if you know me, buy music. Enough of this, a subscription to Shitify. I mean, Spotify. Because they really need to rename it Shit on the Artist. Because there's, you know, Gizz makes more money selling an album of Foreclosure than he does from that 32 cents that Spotify sends him, and he's got to dole that out to other
Nobody
people.
bought a Foreclosure album, and there's
So,
no 32 cents.
You know, so I mean, I support my artists.
Yeah.
All right, I support my artists 100%. And the Interrupters, I'm gonna probably, you know, go deep on their catalog, because I'm the kind of person that, you know, once you hear something, you're like, okay, where did that come from? And when we do the podcast, our podcast is very loosely structured. I want to know your story. Where'd you come from? What did you find? Was it music first that found you, or did you find music? And from there, it's a free-for-all. And as Gizz will tell you, you know, there are moments of a lot of emotional stuff goes down, whether it's Gizz, you know, getting a little soft, or Chris Dahlimer from Delamitri breaking down in tears, talking about he thought he'd go out on stage like a, you know, like a rock and roll legend and have a heart attack on stage. And then he thought about his wife and daughters. And we had this real emotional moment. So it's, you know, there's something to be said about just having a conversation like we're doing and getting real, you know. And we tell everyone to support your musicians, buy their music, go to their shows, buy the shirts, you know, because
Paul truly is very about is like when he goes to a show, you know, if he
always
and I go
bring
to a show,
cash.
he always brings cash, and he's buying, you know, the CD, the vinyl, the t-shirts, you know, whatever he can to support the bands.
It costs money to be that. It costs money to entertain us. It takes money, effort, emotion. It's a mental strain. It's important that people understand how much the bands put into this and what that takes to fucking accomplish this shit. And if you just show up at a show for $5 or $10 or even $23.15 or whatever the fuck,
$550,
yeah, whatever the fuck, you dickheads. If you just show up and do that, and you don't take that moment, if you're not supporting that, you're kind of, I really feel like you're stealing. I feel like you're not putting back into the ecosystem of this music and this art. And I want to see people return that. Like, what's $25? What's $30? What's $40?
you know, I was at a punk rock bowling, and I happened to be at a show, and coming up in July, an amazing Las Vegas band called the Implosions. Okay.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, they're incredible. I will tell you this. I listened to the Implosions before the episode, and I try to keep the intro a little brief because I want some suspense. But the reality is if you listen to their latest album, it is literally the same experience. You get your ass off a plane in Vegas. You go on a 3-day bender. You do way too many shots of ass juice at the Double Down. You've probably had too much hookers and blow. You wake up Sunday, maybe Monday before your flight leaves, and you're face down in a gutter with only one drop of dribble left because you're parched, and you got to figure out how to get your miserable life back to the airport to go home and explain that to someone else. And that is their album. That album feels just like a 3-day Vegas bender. I am totally in support. Go out and buy that. So I ran into them on which was one of the nights that ends in Y because they're all blur. And I'm telling them, you know, it's no secret that I'm building my niece's record collection. She's going to go off to college and have hands down the best record collection of any kid, like all these autographed albums and all these great experiences. And like, I'm telling them, like, oh, we'll send you. I'm like, no, I'm paying for the album. Cost you something for the album. If you sign it for her, you ship it out. I appreciate that, you know, but we've got to support one another because life isn't free. And if you think that paying a subscription to Spotify is helping artists, you don't understand the music or the business whatsoever. And it's really, I can't say it enough. Pay for this stuff. It isn't that expensive. And if you go to a merch table, and look, I get it. Paul's got to bring cash to a show because his credit card or his credit score is 4. His credit score is 4, not 400, but 4. He's got to bring cash.
His
but
credit card is only for Grindr and
no, but his credit rating is 4.
Actually,
like most people are like 400 is the floor. Paul's credit rating is actual floor. But if you go to a merch table and you say, look, I got the shirt's 20, but I got 17. Can you help me out? They're gonna sell you the shirt for Christ's sake. I mean, do the right thing, everybody. Support your band.
The reason for the cash is really simple. You don't have to fucking claim that on your goddamn taxes as a band. It is literally like, here's fucking actual money. Here's an actual piece of thing. Fuck off. Nobody's paying tax on that. And that's the fairest way to do business in this country right now.
Yeah.
Fuck hole.
So,
what a
you know, look, I mean, support your band. So that's what we do with the podcast. There's no great structure. It's let's talk about what happened. I mean, I'll never forget the moment. And I was on with Nick Collins, Phil Collins' son, and he had, you know, I don't. Everybody's talked to him. Everybody's talked to him about drumming with his dad, right? And that experience, and look, to go from, you know, he's living in Miami, he gets to do one charity show with his dad, and then boom, he's on the world stage, right? I mean, you can't go much bigger, right? And I wanted to know, number one, what did he learn in all of that he's going to take throughout his musical career? Because not many people get to do one tour with their dad, let alone two different bands, right?
Right.
And then just let's say hypothetically the drumming thing didn't work out. What was plan B? What did you want to be? And he's like, you know, nobody's ever asked him that question, but he wanted to be in sports medicine. His brother's becoming a very well-known soccer player in Germany. You wouldn't have thought that. So it's like just getting down to like who we are as human beings. Because you, the two of you, well, maybe Gizz more than Paul. I don't know, because you know, Paul's writing Gizz's shirt tails there. But
oh my God,
we've all.
Woo!
Gizz, don't forget to Venmo me after. But love you, Paul. keep the dollars coming. But you know, for what it's worth,
he doesn't have any
most musicians, whether they are starting out or they've reached the pinnacle of their success, believe it or not, they breathe the same oxygen, they bleed the same blood, and they're gonna unfortunately perish the same way we all will at some point. They're human beings. Yeah. And if you just invest the time to get to know them as a human, as opposed to just being that starstruck fan, you'll be amazed at the relationships you can build.
I mean, it's amazing how much the same we all are. Like, it's not far, man. We all have the stories. Some of us choose to write songs about it. Some of us choose to bitch and moan about it. Some of us go to fucking work to 9 to 5 and fuck off.
That is absolutely true, because from the beginning of my career until 1999,
when I came in,
I was very much a different person and a different musician. From 1999, being in the UK subs and learning from three legends, icons, that you know, it's not about what you think it is. You need to know. If you're going to be in this band, you need to conduct yourself as a gentleman. You know,
he's drunk now. Now I know you're drunk.
An Englishman.
I can't read this shit.
You know, it's just that's the gist of it. Is like talking to fans. Like,
that's how we met.
You know, if I would have not given up the 10-20 minutes that I did originally meeting him, we would not be here today. You know, and I had that already, that, yeah, I want to talk to you, you know, and the way that he was conducting his conversation with me was because of my music that I blessed him with, you know, and that he loved.
Whoa, let's say I'm blessed. But...
was he wearing his Cardinals outfit?
It affected me emotionally. I had a very, very, very close relationship with the music that Gizz had written. And so, yes, blessed.
And it's just, and then from 1999 on, it's every conversation I have with anybody, you know, it has to be meaningful, or else what the fuck are you doing? And don't fake it. Right. You know, our initial conversation has led to a friendship that's a year old now. And we talk pretty much almost on the daily, you know, we're just,
well, I feel left out now.
Well, you're a piece of shit.
Your mom.
Paul, send me your number. I'll include you in the group chat.
It's fucking
on. He keeps asking.
Just tell me right now, Paul. Tell me right now, and I'll put it in my phone. Tell me, what's your number, Paul?
626. You want my social security number or my phone number?
Well, with a credit score of 4, why do I need your social security number? What is there to steal? So,
yeah. So I actually, Scott, I have a question. So, what drew you to punk rock? Like, how did you find punk rock as a medium for your art?
You know, it's funny because I was working for a company a few years ago, and I showed up to a corporate function wearing some Doc Martens, and my boss at the time, Justin, goes, "I would have never pinned you for Doc Martens," and I'm like, "What, are you kidding me?" I loved growing up with the punk that was coming out that we could find in America from the UK back in that day. I'm not going to name a year. And then suddenly from there, we did get this blending of genres into punk and ska and Britpop. And you okay that you need an air sick bag? And that music really just kind of stayed with me. And then, you know, just to pivot the conversation, last year when I went to Punk Rock Bowling, I mean, Devo headlined, Madness, of course, headlined, and I've seen Madness in I saw them at the Inland Invasion. I saw them at the House of Blues in Vegas when they were playing Coachella one year, and then I got to see them on Clapham Common in the UK and experience that. So I was like, I got it, I want to see Madness. And we put in our credential request, and I was fortunate enough to get chosen for Punk Rock Bowling. I was out there photographing all by myself last year and running between stages. It was a lot of work. Thank God the temperatures were lower. And my love of punk was fortified last year. For those of you who have never been to Punk Rock Bowling, I hope you get to experience this sometime. And those of you who have, this. You can go to a lot of festivals, but Punk Rock Bowling is a family reunion. It literally is a family reunion. You will go to Punk Rock Bowling and see people annually, and it's like not a day has gone by. They're your friends, they're your family. They've got your back. You'll see them in the same clubs, at the same pools. You'll have a great time with them. You'll go your own way, and you're going to see each other in a year, and it's all going to be good. And that was what really got me to say, you know what? I've really got to invest myself more into punk rock. And yeah, it was a great experience. Look, the Shakewells, I'm telling you right now, I was yelling at American Airlines to hustle their ass out to Las Vegas because I didn't want to miss Rob Ruckus and the Shakewells at the Citrus Pool this year. And unfortunately, I did. I got there after Ruckus launched himself without his bass guitar plugged in an amp into the swimming pool, and then lost his glasses, which is, that's a whole thing. He was Blind Ruckus for a while, but which could be the name of another band, Blind Ruckus, just saying. Going out there and then coming back and having those relationships. And look, we did something that we'll talk about with Punk Rock Saves Lives, which anybody who's been to a punk show across the country has probably experienced Rob and Tina Rushing or their crew at some show. They are the most amazing support group for punk rock fans at every show, at all the festivals. They do amazing things. And again, that wouldn't have happened had Rob not had the experience of being able to work with one of his idols, Mike Peters, the Alarm, with Love, Hope, Strength. And we were out in Las Vegas. We did a shot for Mike in Mike's honor and out of respect and love for him. The celebration of life he had. Gizz, you should check that out. It's on the internet. I could only be lucky to get a tenth of what was said about Mike. I mean, if you talk about a legacy and changing the world as a person by creating a way for people to get on the National Bone Marrow Donor Registry so that they have a fighting chance to live. I mean, there's no greater blessing of a life than that. And I'll always be thankful and that I had a relationship with him and being able to have some experience with him and his family and those shows. And Rob and Tina are carrying on that tradition here in the States with Punk Rock Saves Lives. And I arrived last year to Punk Rock Bowling, got to my hotel, and I'm like, wait a minute, what's that van across the street at Hogs and Heifers? And I walked over and I hadn't seen Rob in probably almost 7 or 8 years. And it was like a moment didn't go by. And, he introduced me to Fricashinas and what's that drugstore boner pills or some cheap boner pill? I forget the name of that band there. But boner pills is what you got to remember. Guys, don't hate me. I've got a lot of bands in my head right now, but and seeing that experience and really immersing myself into the punk experience that year was like, I got to go back and I got to be a part of this. And this year I had a great crew. I had an amazing crew with me for those 5 days. We did a ton of work. And experiences. you know, I had a friend that I've known since college who was out there. She and I are travel husband and wife. We're not married, never will be. Sorry, anybody watching. But she knows it and I know it. But she was out there, and Halsey was out there and got to experience the punk rock festival. And her, you know, her main genre is more of a harder kind of rock. She had just been to a festival with, I think, who was there? Def Leppard, and a bunch of harder bands.
No.
So I think it was okay. Don't Halsey, calm down. Calm down. Gizz likes them too. But and look, I'm just gonna say that if there's one highlight amongst all that I had that really gets me a little verklempt is I had reached out to my nephew who's 21 just a couple days earlier, and I'm like, hey dude, you want to come out to Las Vegas and have a great weekend? I could use another set of helping hands. You'll have a great time. Just got to get yourself out here. And my nephew came out, and he had an experience. It was a week before his 22nd birthday. He just had his birthday on Friday, and he just had an incredible time. So this year we did amazing work that you know, I'm so proud of the Almost Famous magazine crew that we had. Next year we're going to try and go bigger and bolder.
We're there.
We got there just in time for the Shake Wells to finish up, but I got another. This is why you go to Punk Rock Bowling. I'm doing something with the Shake Wells, getting some autographs for this giveaway or this auction that we're doing with Punk Rock Saves Lives. And this guy starts shouting along above the band that's playing, and Kirsten hears him, and he comes running over. I couldn't believe it, but John and his girlfriend were there. John Cole, Kirsten and I had not seen each other in 35 years since we graduated from RIT. And there he and his girlfriend are at Punk Rock Bowling. But it gets even better. For those of you who kept up on Punk Rock Bowling social media and you saw an animation about this couple that met a few years ago, they made it a whole entire animation. That's the couple. It was crazy. It was absolutely batshit crazy. That's the magic of Punk Rock Bowling. You never know who you're going to run into, and you're going to rekindle relationships, and you're going to meet people that you're going to have these lifelong relationships with. And that really, to me, is just so special and unique about Punk Rock Bowling. Although Sharif may think otherwise, but you know, he's told his stories.
Wait, would you fight Sharif?
Fight? Are you kidding me? I wouldn't fight Sharif. No. Let me tell you something. I wouldn't fight Sharif because I don't want any damage to come to him. He has the most beautiful daughter. If you keep up with his daughter deserves every moment with her daddy. He is an incredible father. And not only does he make amazing music, but he's introducing it to her at a young age. And I love him for that. He's the best. He's the best, even regardless of meeting Gizz when he was 14.
All right. So we're talking about special moments at Punk Rock Bowling. One of the most special moments at Punk Rock Bowling. Back in 2006, 2007, I was playing drums for Dr. No. We went on tour. We're in Ohio, in Cleveland, I believe. And the club we played at, the band that opened up for us, I can't remember the fucking name of the band, but they're really cool kids, fucking badass band. Fast forward probably 10 years later, Punk Rock Bowling, 2011, and I'm playing drums for the Freeze, and the Freeze and Poison Idea were playing at one of the after shows, and I'm getting ready to go in. I think my drums were backlined that night, so I really didn't have much work to do. So I set up my cymbals, and I go outside, I have a cigarette. I'm hanging out with my brother, Leo, and I see this kid walking by, and I'm like, fuck, I recognize that kid. And he comes over, he's like, hey, Gizz. And as soon as I heard his voice, I was like, oh, what's up, brother? What's up, little brother? And I give him a hug. He's got 3 people with him. And I'm they're like, yeah, dude, we want to see you guys tonight, but you know, can't afford it. And you know, it's sold out. And I'm like, dude, I'll get you in. So we go in, I get him in, and we're backstage, and we're in Poison Idea's green room. And my brother's just like, hey, yeah, here you go. Here's a beer. Here's a beer for you.
Love you, Leo.
Here's a beer for you. And Joey Ramici comes in.
Joey Ramici.
And he goes, hey, Gizz, can you tell Leo to quit handing out the beer, the band's beer? And I'm like, dude, no, I'm not going to tell him. He's like, I'm not going to tell him. So I was like, all right, dude, I'll go over there. So I go walk over to Leo and I go, "Hey, Leo, do me a favor. Quit handing out the band's beer." And he's
The miners.
fucking neck almost breaks. He goes, "Fucking Joey." And Joey goes, "Dude, I didn't say anything." That moment right there was like, fuck, like that.
I mean, those are the experiences you have, right?
I was at, the punk rock tournament. That's what it was called, year one. It was a punk rock tournament, bowling tournament. And it wasn't a punk rock bowling, we thought it was going to be 1 year, but it's not a festival. It's a reunion.
Now.
It's a reunion, where people can just go once a year and just, rekindle.
Spend $3,000 and.
But you don't even have to do that. I mean, it depends on what
Paul,
you live.
Paul. Little less vodka, and you can make it there. But you know what? That is, look, I'll be honest with you. I maybe gambled for all of 20 minutes because I was so busy. My money was invested in the experiences that we had. What?
Did you wear a condom?
Yes. Look, if only it worked properly, but that's a whole other story. We're not going back to the beginning of the conversation. But I'm in recovery. But the money that it didn't cost me any money to be there. What it was an investment I made in what turned out to be lifelong memories, rekindling relationships, meeting new people. And when you get back to the beginning of the show and you talk about that investment in other people, you put a price tag on that. I mean, seriously.
Well, actually, I will actually. So being behind the scenes and who we are and how we work the show is a lot different than the people who are just going to the show and how much that costs. There's a much bigger cost difference, for that end of it. Like you could spend a couple grand as just a patron and just a person showing up to it to see it. And I mean, I'm not saying it's not worth it. I think it is very much worth it. I think it's amazing to be able to see Subhumans and fucking all the bands that we've actually been able to witness. I do think there's you can monetize that and go, when are you going to get to do that again? However, what we get to do behind the scenes, I think is much, much different.
Yeah, and look, I mean, I'll tell you the experience my nephew had. That's not his scene. I mean, he flew in from Houston, Texas. He needed a few days off from law school just to kind of recharge his batteries and get away. And he had an experience. Dude, he met the Jackknives, the Last Gang, the Briggs.
Yeah. Whoa. Jackknives.
Oh yeah, we covered the Jackknives. Hell yeah, we covered the Jackknives, the Last Gang.
Only show I ever played with the Jackknives was at the Double Down.
You're right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right. Great band. I didn't get. Look, I wish I could have been in that band. You can only be in one place at one time, but I was off at Before Dawn and Witches Ride, which are two amazing bands that we had on the podcast.
You're actually interviewing
Sarah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Sarah's incredible. Sarah is absolutely incredible. And she's so delightful.
Forget Scott. And in all truthfulness, one of the reasons that I didn't go to punk rock bowling last weekend was because one of the bands that I was like, you know what, I want to go because you turned me on to them was the Baboon Show.
Fucking so good.
Oh, huge disappointment. That was the crest fall for me. And look, I don't really want to get into a politics conversation. We know what's going on in the world, but I think, when a band can't come to bring the joy of their music to people around the world because of political ideologies that don't agree together, it makes me sad. And I, my next thing is, how do I get over to the UK? Because they put on one hell of a show. They were on tour with Bad Cop recently, another band that I love that I saw the year before.
Oh my God.
And yeah, it made me sad that they couldn't. And there were some other bands I think that last minute kind of had to bail because of their country's telling them they may not come home. And look, would I love the Baboon Show to come over here and be an American-based band? Yeah, but she's got kids and they're better off that way. So
if you're like right now, buy their fucking merch, get some fucking music, spend some dollars,
spend some dollars and support them.
That you know me from originally from taking pictures wishes that they were that band.
Yeah.
Scott, I got one more big question for you. What was the first moment in punk rock in your 27 years you've been alive? Like, what was the first thing that you heard that made the most sense for punk rock?
It's the first thing I heard that made more sense. It's interesting. I grew up in Rochester, New York, and they're not punk. They're more kind of underground. The Chesterfield Kings.
Yeah.
Rochester, New York. These guys have worked at the great House of Guitars forever. And that was my first intro, because Rochester has a pretty great music scene, because they got the Eastman School of Music there. Tony Levin came out of there. Steve Gadd came out of there. Rick Beato came out of there, out of Rochester. Scott Mayo came out of, all of these great musicians, great music scene. Lou Graham, a foreigner, came out of Rochester. And I remember trying to figure out what they were, but there's something to that. And that kind of was my gateway drug, so to say, into finding some other genres in a time when, look, we were still listening to AM radio, let's be honest. So what was AM radio? Oh, that's just news. So so that was kind of my entree. And then I was just hungry for it in a time when we didn't have this ability to be in real-time conversations across the world with one another. And you had to wait to get the fanzine for 6 weeks in the mail, right? And it was on paper. And that's when you found out about the old news that was going on with the band. So
yeah, dude, that is amazing. Where did that lead? Give me we don't fucking care about time. He's got a.
Oh, and I brought something to show you guys. So we got to get to that too. So, but yeah, look, I was, look, you think about Elvis Costello, Nick Lowe. First of all, if you were in music back in the late 70s, early 80s, and you were in a British band, if those two didn't create with you in some way, whether writing or producing, you weren't making music. Let's just be honest. Yeah. And you think of all those bands and the Malcolm McLaren stuff. There was the Sex Pistols, but if you think about the Adamant and the story of how they stole Adamant's band, right? Yeah. I was supposed to see Adamant, and he couldn't tour the States because he had no band at the time, and it wasn't as easy to get people together and
Adamant's awesome, dude.
Oh, he's totally amazing. I've seen him a couple times. And then, of course, there was Madness, and Joe Boxers. They may have been Joe Boxers had one hit in the States, but let me tell you, they just had this sound, right? And then you start to move through the 80s, and you get that Frankie Goes to Hollywood, and people are like, what the F is this? But you're literally seeing something that had Trevor Horn not come across them, they would have never been who they were, because from the early demos of Relax to what it became, and the mega hit that it became. You look at the history of that, and then you fast forward and you think, would there have been a No Doubt or Rancid or Mighty Boss Tones had there been no Madness, right? Had there been no Clash? And right now, one of the bands that I really was bummed, and they bailed on Kid Capiche. They were supposed to play this year. If you've not listened to Kid Capiche, I will fight you in a corner for this one. They are the most amazing cross between the energy of the Clash and the sensibility of Madness's lyrics. And you've got Kid Capiche. They are incredible. And I was super bummed they didn't make it over. What'd you say?
He has no taste,
and this is why I don't know them. See, I'm not a huge Clash fan. I love the music, but it's not one of those bands that if I'm in my studio and I'm like, I want to listen to music, I will never put the Clash on.
Fuck off, really?
Yeah, but that's because you only listen to Disney tunes. So
no show tunes.
Swift, motherfucker.
He's I know you're the biggest Swiftie. But if you start to thread the needle through music, and a whole other conversation is, what does music sound like these days, and what is distinctive and different, right? The bands there's a band I'm going to tell you guys you got to check out if you ever want it for the podcast. You're gonna, whoever watches this or mine will be one. There's a band out of Houston, Texas called Easy Band. Letter Easy Band. Why do I find them?
Or Easy Band.
Why do I find them fascinating? The risk taking. You've got this Norteña Tejano band that is doing English language music.
I did.
And let me tell you something. They're amazing. They've been on my podcast. I photographed them. I mean, they're going to be huge because they're taking risks. They're doing something different. And that's what I look for in artists. So if I can find something that like, wow, I don't hear somebody, maybe shades of something that from years ago, but I'm seeing something new in it. I'm like all in. I am all in on music like that. And
these guys are awesome as shit. I love the fuck out of them, dude. Like,
one of the things that you know, and no bullshit, like one of the things that I admire about you is that, dude, your tenacity about just jumping like full bore into the deep end and just going, fuck, dude, I want to interview every fucking band that's ever been there. You know, and every band that hasn't been there, dude.
And I love, dude, I appreciate that. I love interviewing people who have a great story to tell about their musical journey and learning from them. And when we talk about who are 3 artists you're listening to, part of it's kind of a greedy thing for me because I'm like, wow, they're turning me on to some stuff that if we're having a beer together, it would. So I would rather learn about new music that way than you know, on Shitify and you know, and go enjoy stuff that people love and bring them happiness.
What did you say? Spanktify?
What size shirt?
I think I said Sphincterfy.
He's large.
No.
What size shirt?
What do I wear? A large. They shrink. I need a couple of shirts so I can promote you guys on my my podcast. I mean, right now, look, if you don't know, what is it? Who in the hell the Shakewells are? You need to find out about the Shakewells. But I definitely, and trust me, it's not getting me free admission to the Punk Rock Museum. You gotta know who the Shakewells are. But let me tell you something. There are bands without the podcast and without knowing you, Gizz, and stuff. I mean, the Clit 45, perfect example. I was so there's this thing called Ska West up in Denton, Texas. I was up there with
greatest festival ever.
Yeah, I was up there with Buck from the Toasters, and we had some time to hang out. And there's this guy wearing this vest that says Clit 45. I'm like, holy shit! I just interviewed them a week or 2 ago, and I'm like, I had never heard of them. Who is this guy? So I go up to the guy and I'm like, where'd you get that? Oh, I used to live in LA and they're my favorite band. I'm like, here, let's take a selfie. So I send it off to Dave 45. He's like, dude, tell that guy, you know, thanks. And I go, no, here's his Instagram handle. Made the guy's night when he got a message from him, right? And then to hang with those, we did an Instagram live during you know, with him and Dave and Rico during Punk Rock Bowling and had a great time and told some great stories. And then hands down, the club show that everyone was talking about up until I think, Cox Bar did a club show on the last night, the Secret Show. Yeah. Everybody's talking about the death of Spider-Man at the Clit 45 show. In the three-quarters of the way through the set, Dave pulls out this piñata of Spider-Man and throws it into the crowd. Now, I have seen mosh pits, and then I've seen human blenders now. And that was a human blender. That was like the thing you make your smoothies. There was nothing going in that was going to survive coming out undiced. And
never been to a silent show.
Oh, no.
Spider-Man suffered a tragic demise. Parts of him ended up in a light fixture. There were arms and legs everywhere. There was candy all over the place. People are moshing in candy. People are trying to pick up candy for a snack, and they're getting whacked in the head by somebody's knee. I mean, it was absolute insanity. And everybody was talking about that show the day before or the next day at the pool. It was incredible. Everybody's like, either they saw it and they couldn't believe it, or they wanted to have been there. So that was definitely a great highlight of Punk Rock Bowling this year.
I have another question about Punk Rock Bowling. Were you at the flag set?
I was. Yep. And did you see Ruckus? Did you see Ruckus sitting on stage back there? He had that Gizz Lazlo smile. I took a picture and I sent it to him. I go, that's the look I love. That big smile.
Did you see the Nazi get the shit kicked out of him?
So yeah. Here's what happened.
Wait, fuck.
All right. I was hoping. I was finishing up photographing your first three in the pit, and I'm coming out on that same side, and I noticed to my left, I see the shirt. And look, I mean, I'm Jewish. Of course I'm going to notice. How am I not going to see that, right? But I'm pumped. So
Wait a minute. Hold on. You're a Jew?
You're Mexican too?
yeah, that's it. I'm a Mexican Jew there. So I see it, but I'm going back to where my gear is stored to pick up another lens so I can get some shots above the crowd. And when I get back, they had already kicked his ass out. And rightfully so. The talk after was there are never fights at Punk Rock Bowling. It's a lot of love. It's a lot of people treating everyone well. But you know what? If you're going to go into that scenario trying to be that person, you deserve what you get because you made that choice. And
I hope you
lucky
fucking the way out. You fucking fell down the stairs and your fucking teeth got busted open, buddy.
You know,
that fucking deserved everything. Like goddamn thing, whatever the fuck happened to him.
Yeah, and it's kind of sad because that became the news story of Punk Rock Bowling for a good 48 hours, sadly so. And it's something that shouldn't have had to have happened. It's unfortunate that he couldn't engage his brain because he either said, I'm going to go and get my ass kicked, or I don't give a shit about other people. One of the two, and either of those are horrible things.
As both. I mean, I really think like when you walk into a situation like that, you're like, I fucking think that my ethics and morals are more important than everybody else's, and also they're completely adverse to everybody fucking else's. And like, what kind of dickbag, douchebag, fucktard asshole do you have to be to think in that fucking manner? Like, and again, we don't do my politics stuff, but like, are you fucking shitting me?
But the funniest thing about that whole story was the people that were protecting him were
Nobody.
like, oh yeah, there was a whole community. They were like, dude, it's a San Diego motorcycle shop. You know, they all use the SS, you know, and blah blah blah. It wasn't a fucking Nazi thing, and like, okay.
Well, but context matters. Context matters.
How many, like, look at Motorhead, they use the Iron Cross as their logo, you know, like.
But context matters, and if all you see is the back, that SS on the back of a bright orange shirt, I think it was, and you're gonna get triggered. I mean, you know.
I did see a Photoshop photo of a chick like trying to protect him, like reaching her arms out, and she had a red shirt on and it had KI, and so it was Kiss.
Oh.
I mean, I don't want to beleaguer that moment because I think it was the one thing that took away from some people's experience at Punk Rock Bowling. It's unfortunate it happened. Hopefully it doesn't ever happen again. You know, because it's not indicative.
A lot of things.
Finish.
No.
Shut the fuck up, bitch.
A lot of things that I did see were in the news articles was the fans kicked him out, not security. And if you watch the video, security was there trying to fucking, you know, hey. But it was the crowd. Like, fuck you, get the fuck out of here. You're not part of our scene.
Well, he was there, and we're hearing a story from a person who was the president at the time, and so we don't know what got edited out. So Scott, continue. Oh, shut up, you.
Hang on, I can hear you.
Fuck, I want to get my
oh, now I see why. My phone's unplugged. Hang on. There we go. Okay, we're back. I didn't want to lose it. There we go. The phone tells me it's running out of juice. The phone was running out of juice. Sorry, guys.
Are you your phone?
Yeah, I'm using my iPhone because I sent you my camera.
Fucking whose fault? The Muppet the fuck ass bitch ass this one.
Hey, I got a question because I want to show you guys something I want to talk about. Probably the most amazing thing about Punk Rock Bowling. I uploaded a video into the green room. Can your guy with the Commodore 64 run that, or do I have to run that?
Everybody just walked out of the room.
As soon as she walks back in, she'll play it.
We'll figure that out.
Because I did see it in the little.
Dude, Scott, I want to come on your show with fucking not this guy.
All right. Well, look,
buddy. I got so many things.
Are you any chance you're Canadian? Because June is Canada month on the hang. We have every artist in June is all Canadian. I don't know how it happened. But everybody through July 1st, which is Canada Day, and right now music is the least expensive import from Canada that you can find. There's no tariffs. We are doing Canada month, And then we go into July, and the Implosions are going to be on in July. And we got this guy. Here's one for you, because I just find people. Leo Lovechild. Okay, Leo Lovechild he's this guy living in New York. He loves country music. He got himself on the Tonight Show on this Instagram contest where they had to write a song, and we had an amazing hang. So it's going to be a great summer. I don't know what's happening in August, but we've got a lot of stuff coming up. I'll tell you, we're going to have one of the Eagles is going to be on.
Eagles.
Hey, not this guy. Let me tell you something. Chris Holt. Chris Holt is an amazing guy, a tremendous musician. And what I really want to talk about he's in a band that does Tom Petty. I think it's Petty Theft. And he's in one that's called Who's Best. And they are some of the best cover or recreative bands in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And I want to talk to him about these hooligans that he runs around with, because he's got some amazing, incredible musicians by his side. So we're going to have a great lineup coming up here for heading into the fall. And believe it or not, by January, we're going to be working on Punk Rock Bowling again. So did someone come into the room? Can we run that video?
When we get, I don't know what we're doing right now, but
it's exclusive. It's exclusive video here, and there's a great story in there. So
right, let me see if I can
run it. Tell somebody feed the gerbil, powered up.
Put the gerbil in your mouth, bitch.
I'm doing it right now. Hold on. Okay.
So we haven't had a chance. We haven't had a chance yet to edit everything, and we have tons of photos. I think I probably have about 20,000 frames to edit. About 4 or 5 minutes.
Okay, I'm gonna take us out of the room and play this. Okay, so stay with me, right?
All right. I'll talk through it. Okay. Me still? There we are. Okay, so this is what I see through the camera while I'm photographing, right? So we talked a little bit about what am I looking for, right? What am I trying to capture when I'm shooting? This is the Interrupters, right? Great band. I'm now totally hands down loving getting to know their music, right? Now you can see that there was a ton of people in the photo pit, right? Now, after the Interrupters, who do I have coming up here after the Interrupters? Oh, there we go. Let me tell you something. She's a powerhouse. She's an absolute powerhouse. You'll see that this is actually what I'm looking at when I'm trying to determine what I'm photographing. I'm looking for, hey, we've got 2 people in the shot. Who am I focused on? Who's on the left? What is this going to look like if I crop it down? What does her look like? Now I want to get the Interrupters so you can see that I'm trying to get the whole name. But there's Peter Hook. What do you know? Peter Hook and the Light. The bands that Cockspar, Peter Hook and the Light, and Social Distortion really were just incredible closers for this weekend. The crowd was just absolutely loving them. And Social Distortion closed the show. The second to last song was Ring of Fire, which always, it's a great crowd pleaser, but also at the same time, brings up this controversy of, was it Johnny Cash or not? So these bands really were doing amazing. Oh, hey, speaking of wait a minute. Who do we have here? Gizz. Was that someone you were looking for before? Was that someone? Oh, look. Who do we have here? So we have a lot of different bands. I'm shooting above the crowd. You see that kid? I have photos of that kid with the mohawk that are unbelievable. He's having a kick-ass time. He's maybe all of 8 years old. And then we close the whole thing out with Social Distortion. And to have Social Distortion headline for their very first time at Punk Rock Bowling was just incredible to see them. But what I want to do, and we're gonna transition the video here in a second. We worked with Punk Rock Saves Lives, who I mentioned earlier, and we did something truly incredible this year. We wanted to help them raise funds because they're always in need of some extra dollars to fix a van, support their cause, get them around the country. So with Rob and Tina's blessing and help, we actually worked with, you cut it out. You cut out right where I wanted to show. There we go. Right there. So that is No Bro, and they are signing an acrylic that's inside of that camera, and it looks like they are signing the lens. We took every single one of those that we collected. whether it was No Bro, the Toasters, Before Dawn, Witches Ride, Last Game, Jackknives. Who did else we get? We got Civic. We got the Last Gang to do it. We got some of the members of Bridge City Sinners. I think the list goes on a little further. The ones that we got, there's Civic signing the lens. All of those acrylics were auctioned off at a minimum of a $25 donation to Punk Rock Saves Lives. And we raised hundreds upon hundreds of dollars by doing this with them. And I think coming up after Civic, you can actually, I think I put in some video here. Oh, there's Ruckus. There's Rob Ruckus, giving his personality at the pool. Ruckus signing the lens with the shake wells, right? And I think here, let's see, maybe we can see just a second here. What does it look like on the inside? These were auctioned off. They are still available. Here's what it looks like. There you go. This is what it looks like when they're doing it. And those are one of a kind. That's a one of a kind acrylic. You can put it in a frame. That's what it's like when a band is making someone a once in a lifetime autograph that only they will own. So if you reach out to Punk Rock Saves Lives, I know they still have them and they're available for donations. I don't remember all the artists that are still available, but we're hoping to go bigger and better next year on this, because it's a great way to take something home from Punk Rock Bowling that, you know what, Paul, like we were talking about, the investment in Punk Rock Bowling. When you invest in Punk Rock Saves Lives so that they can help support hey, it's the guys in Bridge City Center. Wait till you see what Scott does. Scott is the highlight. We're going to do this. It's be like the Olympics. We're going to have to give him a score. Watch what happens here in a second. Here comes Scott, their bass player. You ready? Watch this. If we could do a drum. There we go. Oh,
come on.
That's an Olympic level cartwheel by the bass player.
So
Bridge City Centers.
Splash out the website. I want to hear everything you've got to splash out. Websites, all the things that are important where people can get stuff, and most importantly, where people can donate and give money and do stuff. Like, what do you got, Scott?
All right. So Punk Rock Saves Lives is where you start. Okay. Go to Punk Rock Saves Lives. Reach out to them. Something happened to my logo back there. But reach out to Punk Rock Saves Lives and see what's available. Make a donation. I know that the first person who walked up said $25. I'll give you $100 for this. Right. There was high demand. I don't think I don't think we have any Bridge City Sinners left. I think Civic might be gone, but there are a lot of other bands, and everybody who was on our podcast did the sign the lens and gave of themselves to do that for Punk Rock Saves Lives. So go to Punk Rock Saves Lives. And if you're the kind of person who is up for volunteering and giving your time in a generous way, they put out a post. If you find them on Facebook or you go to their website, Punk in the Park with the Descendants, the Interrupters, Screeching Weasel, the Addicts, Mustard Plug, 7 Seconds, Swinging Utters. If you want to go to Punk in the Park, Punk Rock Saves Lives needs volunteers for that show. Okay. They need people to help get people on the list. Be there to support people with Narcan. Be there to support people emotionally. Help people make it through the festival in the best way possible. So please, I beg of you, if you do one thing after you watch this episode, if you're in the Portland area and you want to go to Punk in the Park, if you want to travel there, if you want to give to Punk Rock Saves Lives, or even volunteer in a city near you to help them out, go to Punk Rock Saves Lives. We at Almost Famous Magazine are huge supporters. We love them dearly. They're great human beings. And then for Almost Famous Magazine, it's called The Hang. And, come and hang with us on the podcast. If you're looking at Instagram, it's at almost_famous_magazine.com. It's a little bit long. I'm 8x10 by Scott. Find us, check out what we're doing. If it wasn't for Almost Famous Magazine, I wouldn't have the relationship I have with Mr. Gizz Lazlo over there and his punching bag, Paul. Love you, Paul.
Dude, I want to do this without him at some point, you and me. We also have
he does his own show now.
I have a new show coming out called You Should Eat.
Interestingly enough,
you just gotta step on my shit.
Yes,
you motherfucker. It's my idea. Congratulations,
I want to say, in everything that I am, this was 100% 100% Paul's idea for our show, and we've done it since show 1, is at the end of every show, Paul has a bucket of these baseballs. The professional official league baseballs. Every guest that we've had in studio has signed a baseball.
We will be more than happy to donate those to the organization and make sure that you guys
Oh my God, guys, that would be tremendous. I will let Rob Rushing know immediately. I think that's a great, unique thing. I appreciate that. I know if Rob and Tina are, they make great guests on the podcast. I know that they're in LA kind of on the regular because there's a lot of shows. That God, now you're gonna make me cry. I'm getting verklempt. Guys, thank you. I think that's tremendous because we have to support one another. Look, I don't care. Black, white, Gizz, Paul, Asian, really whatever. We're all made of the same stuff, and no individual gets through life alone. We need each other, and we should be kinder to one another, and be there for one another in those moments when we need each other, and be there when we don't either. Be that friend who just calls out of the blue and says, "How you been?"
Hey, Scott, the first interview I ever did with you was for foreclosure, and I was not in a good place.
Nope.
And you know what? He's getting better. We're all getting better. It's been a long fucking hardship for all of us.
But that conversation that I had with you meant the world to me.
Oh, man.
And then when I told you, hey, fucking, I'm going on tour with Junior Juggernaut. Can I do an interview with you? And you're like, hell yeah, let's do it. And Mike and I did that one. And then, hey, can Paul and I come on and promote our stupid ass podcast? And
can we get less than famous?
Yes. You're probably the one person in my whole history of doing interviews, which is over 30 years, that I've done more than 2 interviews with. And that to me,
really? I'm just here being nobody.
Guys, is this are we gonna end up in like all of us just crying in unison and in therapy tonight?
Oh my God.
Do you have a drink with you?
I'm sorry?
He doesn't drink.
Do you have a drink with you?
Dude, I overindulged yesterday to the point where the person I was with doesn't want to date me anymore. So I think that I'm gonna hit water. What?
It was there.
Where was that?
I know.
Yeah, Paul must have been there. That, you know what? Whether she's watching or not, Paul, I'm gonna blame you. That's what I'm gonna do, buddy. But no, tonight's water. I've got some meetings tomorrow. I got a day job that supports all this fun, right? So
what does that mean? Like day what?
Day job, like a career.
Like light. I know light.
I gotta do something that keeps this this roof over my head and this hair in very good shape. So I gotta do something that affords it. But look, here's what I told the guys in Before Dawn Clip 45 and what I was telling Sarah from Witch's Ride, and I really want to come out and see Sharif, and I want to see you guys. So we're gonna plan an LA trip. And maybe, maybe we'll do a Renegade podcast where we're all sitting around a table getting drunk together, everybody, and just having a good time. We'll figure out how to do it. I've got the gear, and we'll do something special and unique that means something to everybody.
I've got 5,000 square feet.
You've been talking about all your fucking gear.
Fuck up for
what?
Oh, look, I got a little more than a little red wagon with a Commodore 64 on it.
That's metal. I got 5,000 square feet of shop space. We can do whatever we want.
That was Metal's nickname in jail. Commodore 64.
So look, I love you guys. It's been great to hang with you, and guys, it's meant as much to me as it has to you, Gizz. Maybe not so much to Paul because you give him the stronger embrace, but
it's God. Fine. You're not getting my fucking.
I love you, Scott.
Do you want to know what Gizz's social security number is?
The thing that I love about you is that you don't give a fuck, dude. You just say what the fuck. You're like the white, not so good looking version of me.
Gizz just woke up and doesn't know what's happening. All right, we're gonna do 2 things right now.
Wait. Let me give you a quick retort. I'll tell you why. On 10/10/10, so October 10th of 2010. I was in a near fatal. I'm sorry.
I did a wedding
Stop
that day.
talking.
You know what?
Yeah.
Fuck you. It's my
Well,
show.
I could have died that day. I was in a near fatal car wreck, and one of the things that left me permanently was fear. I don't have a fear mechanism anymore. I don't care. If you like me, you like me, and if you don't like me, well, that's fine. Other people will. I'm just going to tell it like it is, because going back to the beginning of this episode, when someone's gone in your life and you didn't get to say what you wanted to say, you've got to live with that.
Yeah.
So damn it, say it. If it doesn't come out right, mop it up and make it right, but get the words out, because you may not get another chance. So that's why I'm the way I am.
And I love you for it, bro. Like from the first 5 minutes I talked to you, I knew we were lifelong friends. You know,
Yeah.
you're right up there with Joey and this motherfucker here, man. Like you're one of my favorite fucking people.
Scott, I fucking love you. We've had like a few interactions, and that's all it has. That's all I needed to take. And when we get to the green room, I'll give you my phone number so I can delete Gizz from your fucking phone. Bitch. But yeah, I want to get
I'll show you, Paul. I'll show you love, not the same kind of love Gizz shows you, because, well, you did that on the side of the stage. So
no, it's out in the street. It's out in the street.
But
Oh,
man, look, I was stoked when I got the text yesterday saying come on and be on tonight. I've been looking forward to it all day long.
So
this is really great.
Gin?
Why don't you let people speak?
Did you get to the gin?
The gin? The gym. No, but I got a good walk in. I got to walk in, and I may go for a run after this. I don't know if I've got some energy left.
Well, I didn't tell him the story earlier today when I was telling Scott, okay, setting him up. He goes, yeah, I went to my alarm and I said, hey, set alarm to go to the gym. And then it says, oh, putting gin on your grocery list.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Alexa. Yeah, what is it, Alexa?
let
me pull it up here. It's really funny. It's what the hell was that? Let's see.
Like a picture of Gizz's tits.
Oh, what was it? What was that stupid text?
Yeah.
No, I don't. It was something about Alexa making an alarm for me to go to the gym. And then it was oh yeah, here it is. Alexa, remind me to go to the gym. Alexa, I have added gin to your shopping list. Me, close enough. Wait, I got another one. I haven't sent you this one. I'm gonna give you one out the door. You ready? This is hysterical. You know of Alan Turing, who cracked the Enigma code in World War II, but nobody knows about his sister Kay, who provided Alan and his team with refreshments and food. Kay Turning. And that's one I need to send to Dave 45 because of his day job. So
Jesus. All right. Well, that.
All right.
We're gonna put you in the green room for a few
no,
minutes. No,
really,
fuck! I will kill you.
Really
in
quick.
the face with my dick.
Gotta hate our show.
Put me in the green room. I don't want to see that.
I want to be,
dude.
I want to be on your next show. Already famous.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Almost.
I know he ain't following.
Almost, but never famous. Failing famous.
Well, it's like you know what? I'll take mid famous, because if Sharif can be the king of mid fi, then I think I can be the king of mid famous, maybe.
All right, there you go. Really quick, this is a tradition. This is a tradition that we're going to start tonight. If you have a drink and you're watching us, or you're just watching, after the fact, Paul and I just want to dedicate this show and every other show that we're ever going to do to our buddy, our friend, our brother, Joe Ramici.
Joe Ramici, and actually all of our fallen friends, all of everybody,
all
who
those we lost.
That gave us something of themselves and their music. This one's for
John
you guys.
Little, I
Cheers.
miss you, buddy.
L'chaim.
Nostrovia. Ancha. L'chaim. Whatever it takes.
Look, the greatest gift we can give them is taking a little bit of them and giving them this everybody else. Give out the lessons, give out the ideas, give out the moments so that other people can thrive from them. That's the best we can do to keep their memory alive. And I have no doubt Gizz will be doing that for all these people.
That's all I want to do now every Monday. That's our mission in life, man. Every Monday, we just want to tell our friends stories. And you are one of our best friends.
Well, thank you. You guys are great friends.
I truly believe this. I want to put this out there. Our friends are not gone or lost. They're with us. They don't leave us.
If you can find the things that someone gave you because they were here on this planet and you can share them with others, they are never gone. They're always with us. And you give them a chance to live for eternity. And I think that's the greatest thing that you learn about death, is that we have that opportunity if we choose to take it. Because some people don't. But I am a big believer that I'm only here to give other people the memories I have from those that have touched my life and made me a better human. So
yeah, the gift,
I can't imagine you not being less of a human that I've met.
The gift in life that we have is to remember it's we left behind.
Yeah, and never forget them. Never. And I'm confident. Look, Gizz, I'm sorry you've been through a lot lately, and I hope the sun starts shining for you pretty soon. I know it's been hard. I know it's been rough, and you got a few more to go. But like we talked about earlier on.
Wait, did you kill somebody we don't know about?
No, he just lost someone else today. I mean, look. Paul may be 72 and Gizz and I are only about 23, but we're getting to that point where this is going to happen more often than not. So, make the best of what you have. Don't forget to call someone and tell them you love them. Yeah. Don't forget to call them and just say, hey, you know what? Even if you haven't spoken in a while, be that person who out of the blue hasn't said a word to them in 6 months, but like, I was thinking about you. You never know when that person picks up the phone. You just make their day and change their trajectory. And it makes you happy because you're reconnected, but it makes them happy because they may have been having a bad day. So you do those things and life is good.
And I want to leave with one more story about Saturday. When we showed up to the memorial and we walked into the patio of the church where everybody was entering, and all the handicapped people who can't walk and can't stand very long were sitting on a wall. I saw my brother there, and he was sitting next to someone, and I walked up to that person, and I put my arms around him and I said, thank you. And he asked, for what? And I said, for introducing me to Joey. And he goes, I love you, buddy. And I hugged him, and that person is Chris Long from Dead Lazlo's place, who we may not always get along, but he is still a brother, because we've done things that people only wish they could do when they become a musician, and that's to travel, release records, and have our songs live forever so that other people can enjoy them. So for that, Chris Long, I love you. You are a brother. And whatever this shit that we have against each other, as Joey would have wanted it, needs to fucking stop. And need to stop fucking hating on each other, because it's not good. It's not good. And everybody watching the show, either you're watching live right now,
all three of them, those are three or four,
or if you watch it later on, know that I don't hate anybody, dude. I might fucking fuck with you, and you may think I do, but it all comes from love.
You don't hate me?
Yeah.
Just find, Gizz, you know what? You had that moment. Now make it peace. Find a way to make it peace, and you'll be good. You'll be good, guy. So,
and
that's if we could all strive for that.
I love you so much, Scott.
Love you, buddy.
Dude, it sucks. Like, even with this guy, like, and Metal and Mindy here.
But we like them
all
too.
All of us in this room right now, coming from the bottom of my heart. You people have never been my friends. You're my brothers, my sisters, my family. And I love that we're here together, enjoying these moments every Monday night. And
so we're going to close it out. Scott, stay in the green room for a few minutes. I want to swap information with you, because can't think of anybody else that ever liked to
just no naked selfies. I don't need to see your junk, Paul. Keep that for Gizz. Just send those to Gizz.
Bitch. No, it's just gonna be like miserable shit.
All right.
All right. Save the green mark, brother.
All right. I'll be here. Got a couple more minutes.
I love
Bye,
you,
everybody.
brother.
Thanks for having me on. Love you guys. We'll see each
Dude, I
other
love
soon.
you.
Cheers. I fucking hate you.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
You can't. You just blew me.
You know.
I mean, that was the best blowjob I've ever had. Just saying.
But, next week, on You Know What You Should Do, we're going to be broadcasting live from Schecter Studio with Michael Rosen, who's one of my favorite fucking people in the world, one of my favorite producers. And we're going to be from
We're
Schecter.
going at Schecter Studios.
So
where they
next
get
week, you
guitars.
know what you should do? Join us next fucking Monday at 7:00. Hey, as much shit that we talk, I love you, fucking brother.
Love you too, man. And don't fucking not tell people that you love them.
Yeah.
Be fucking honest, because you know what? We're not all gonna last that long. I mean, fuck, I've been dead for weeks.
Weeks, fuck.
Can't you smell me?
Anyway, you know what you should do? Come back next Monday. Love you
Gizz,
guys.
Lazlo, Just Paul.